We reduced our income from $10,000 a month to $8,000 a month on purpose and without sacrificing our stability. Now, the biggest thing is you're probably thinking like, why would you purposely cut $24,000 a year from your income if you have debt, if you need more money so you can get out of this debt, and you just to get ahead, right? Here's our biggest reason why we did it. We wanted to gain control of our time. So having a baby now, we have to worry about who's going to be the babysitter, who's going to pick them up. We have kids that who's going to take them to school, who's going to pick them up. And it's difficult because you have two full-time working parents. So that causes a lot of mental pressure, right? So like I can't stay late at work today because I gotta be out at a certain time to pick them up because now my wife is working, or vice versa. And now we still have to come home. Aside from picking up the kids, we gotta cook, we gotta clean, we gotta make sure things are going on around the house. We gotta spend time with the baby, whether it's reading to her, playing with her, on top of being full-time working employees. The mental pressure was there, and just thinking about the future of like, picking up the kids, who's gonna babysit my baby next week or tomorrow. I can't pick up extra shifts, or I can't stay extra because of X, Y, and Z. So now it was really like straining mentally, not just today, but for the future. And we're like, there has to be a better way. So how did we go about this? Well, one, we need to know exactly how much money we spend a month in order for us to survive, right? Or continue living the way that we're living. Two, we want to make sure we are still in a positive margin. That leaves us with money to help us pay the debt, help us save money, and pay all our expenses. So let's start with my wife's budget, because my wife is the one who ultimately took the pay cut, and that is so she could be more at home. She went from being a full-time manager running her own store to now she's going to be a normal employee where she clocks in and clocks out. If she can't go to work, she can't go to work, she calls off. Now it's no longer of like, hey, you need to find someone to come and cover, so now you're taking work home. And that's exactly what happened. She would be working on the laptop when she comes home from work, and now that causes pushing everything back. The kids are hungry, we gotta cook, we gotta clean, we gotta wash laundry. It just wasn't working. So now my wife used to make $4,000 a month. So if we cut that in half, she's gonna be making $1,000 every 2 weeks, so $2,000 a month. And now here we broke down her expenses. From her check one, she will have $36 left over, and check two, she would have $134 left over. Now, it's not negative, and it's slightly positive to the point where you really can't do anything with that money. It's almost about $200, not really, it's about $160. She could still use that $100 for whatever it is. But that's not what's important to us. The important thing was, can she step down, pay what she's paying now, and me not having to help her pay those things. So we can do that. So now if we go to my budget, and we still got to work on this, but my budget, I make $6,000 a month, and that's minimum. I always actually get more than that. Last month, I made over $1,000 more. That's because of like overtime or, bonuses or whatever it is. So if we look down, one of my checks, I have $835 left over, and then check two, I have $333 left over. So we got about $1,000 of money to play with, and this is if I only make the bare minimum. So now we have about 1,200, realistically probably about 1,500 left over in a profit right after we pay all our expenses. So now I have $1,500 worth of money to play around with. Start saving some, start paying people back, start paying our credit cards. So I'm gonna be that driver for my wife as well and help her pay her credit cards and debit. And that's what we have been doing. We actually just finished paying off one of her credit cards, so now we only have to work on one with her. So we're moving slowly but surely, and I am just gonna end up making a system in which I will pay who I need to pay slowly over time, and eventually it's gonna get paid off. So since we were able to make that margin of still having more than $1,000 left over with her stepping down, we're like, let's do it. this is awesome. I know we owe people. I know we probably shouldn't, or you think we shouldn't because, that's, we're cutting $2,000 or $24,000 a year. But realistically, we're buying time back. And that's the most important thing, because now we have the best babysitter at home. Mom. Who's going to be a better babysitter than the mom? Right? So now we got the mom, boom, check. I don't got to worry about my daughter being in a daycare, not to mention how much money we're saving from daycare, right? I've heard daycares are like just insane amount of money. Just because on paper it looks like, hey, we're losing money, but if you think about it, we're not going to pay for daycare. We're not going to pay for or just babysitters. We're not going to be paying for hey, you know what? I'm staying home late. Let's just get food outside and spend like $60 for the whole family to eat instead of being at home and cooking. So there's a lot of other ways we're gonna make up that money. But most importantly, it does tie back to getting our time and money, our time back. More importantly, control. We have control and clarity of what we want to do. If you guys do want to check out this Google spreadsheet that I have here to help you guys kind of get yourself together as far as your expenses and your budget, whatever it is, just to help you to see where you are and bring more clarity to your financial life, feel free to check this out. The link will be in my bio. Was it worth it? So how do I measure this? I measure this by like the emotional household income. So what does that mean? Are we under pressure all the time because we have to, we don't have enough time to do X, Y, and Z, such as laundry, dishes, cook, pick up the kids, be with the baby, right? Now we freed up a lot of time because now my wife is only gonna be part-time working, so she's only gonna work 3 days out of the week. So now we're not scrambling over children. All of our family's at home at night, so we're all eating dinner together. We're all talking about our day, how it went. More importantly, wife does not bring her homework anymore. So now she's no longer in the laptop stressing out, trying to finish a schedule, and the baby's crying over there and I'm not home because I'm still working. Chaos. And then also strategic outcome, right? So placing the strategy in place, what was the outcome, right? Like, did it actually work out? So now we got space and clarity. And because we have space and clarity, now we're not going to make decisions off of being pressured and making a decision because, well, we need to do this. Like, we can't afford to be home, or we can't afford to take kids to basketball games or whatever it is. So we have space to breathe. We can relax. And if you ask me, I would pay that $2,000 a month any day if I could have the clarity that we have, the space that we have to just breathe and be with each other, and we're not fighting, we're not going back and forth of who's doing this, who's doing that. And also it opens up me working overtime, and since I make more than my wife, if I work overtime, if I work 2 to 3 days, that makes up $1,000, and I only work 2 or 3 days as opposed to her working 5 days a week, 10 hours a day, right? It is what it is. So it opens up that availability for me, and I could do that and she could stay home with the baby. But I wanted to do it where, you know what, like, we're gonna do this to where I don't need to work overtime, but I can work overtime and it could help us, but we don't need it. We would still be okay. We'll still be able to build, save, and do all that stuff. So was it worth it? Yeah. We just didn't reduce income. We increased control in our life.